Hello, my name is Matthias and welcome to the Gameweek 31 team selection video here on the FPL Scope YouTube channel. Right before I started filming this, we got a huge update on Marcus Rashford and his injury status. He had to go off injured in the game against Everton, so a lot of people were wondering if we'd have to sell him or keep him in FPL. And this update is, while it is a nice update to get, it's also sort of still making it unclear whether he's going to be back for the game weeks that we really want him to be in. So what is clear is that Rashford is out for game week 31. If you are really dependent on him this game week, then you potentially might have to sell him. But what everyone is thinking about mostly is game week 34, which is a huge double game week for Man United. And also game week 33 is also a really good game week for Man United as well. But it says here in the update that he is going to miss a couple of games, a few games to be exact, that's what they say, but he is expected to be back for the season run-in. So that could mean a lot of different things, but a few games doesn't necessarily have to mean a few Fantasy Premier League games, because they have a lot of matches, not just in the Premier League coming up, but in the Europa League and FA Cup as well. Because they play against Sevilla now on Thursday. You might be watching this on Thursday, might have played that game already, but they have Sevilla to play at home and away in the Europa League, and they also have a FA Cup semi-final as well to play. So they do actually have 4 matches, Game Week 31, and then those 3 matches before the Game Week 33 fixture, and even 5 matches to play before the Game Week 34 double game week, which is the most important game week to have him in. So yeah, I think for now you could afford keeping him on the bench until he's back fit, at least until we get more clarity about his injury status. I think it's looking decent for Rashford to be available for game week 34, because 5 games seems like a few games to me, and the run-in would be then game week 34 onwards. So I think that makes sense. I think Rashford is going to be back and ready to play in the correct time, but we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. But I figured we should speak about this because this was literally the news that broke right before I started filming this. So yeah, Rashford is going to come up a bit more as well in terms of looking back at our Game Week 30 score. And we'll move right ahead to that just now, because that is sort of the elephant in the room when it comes to my FPL team this game week. I did captain Rashford. I didn't captain Haaland. That's not because I didn't have faith in Haaland to score, but it's just because I had a lot of faith in Rashford against Everton, who have been really terrible away from home, and Man United have been really good at home against lesser teams. I did have success in, I think it was game week 20 something. I can't remember the exact game week, but at some game week, not too far back in the past, I captained Rashford when most people captained Haaland, and Rashford got a huge haul, got two goals, while Haaland missed a couple of sitters against Nottingham Forest. So I was sort of just hoping to get the same sort of positive variance going my way, but of course it didn't. Not because Rashford didn't get enough chances, because he got plenty of chances against Everton, and I don't really regret the decision, because Rashford played at home against, like I said, a really weak side, while Haaland played away. Haaland has not scored a single hat-trick away from home. What a terrible player he is, but he scored all of his hat-tricks at home. He hasn't been quite the same player away, and he's also just back from injury, so I figured he was going to play 60-70 minutes at best. That's what he ended up doing as well, but let's just go with Rashford first before we tackle Haaland. But Rashford threw on goal like 3-4 different times. Pickford made some pretty easy saves, to be honest. Really weird performance from Rashford. He has been so clinical lately, banging in goals left and right on like pretty few chances. He's been pretty clinical, and against Everton he was anything but. He could easily score 2 or 3 goals in the first half alone, and then in the second half he did get a point return from an assist when Seamus Coleman messed up and that Rashford had the ball. Rashford passed it into Martial, who scored, and Man United got a win. But again, my Man United assets did not perform that well. But before we talk about Fernandes and Shaw, we need to talk about Erling Braut Haaland as well. He was the most popular captain pick, and it is for a good reason. He was always going to do really well against Southampton away. It was just a matter of how much you could avoid damage from not captaining Haaland. And for a long while, it looked pretty good. Like Haaland, he was in some decent positions at the start of the game, but they didn't really create that many chances for him. But then, right before the end of the first half, Haaland got a brilliant cross from Kevin De Bruyne and scored, and that opened up the floodgates in the second half for Southampton. And then it looked like Haaland was going to get subbed off pretty soon. Julian Alvarez was ready to step in, but then, of course, Haaland had to do a bicycle kick and get his second goal, get the 3 bonus. So that's a big 14-point swing for Haaland after Rashford had a similar 15-point swing going against him. So I don't really regret the captaincy decision. Like I said, it sucks, of course, but still, it's only 6 points in the end, which isn't too much either. So I guess I can't be too unhappy about that either. But talking about the rest of the team, Man United, like I said, the other big decision apart from captaincy, I went with Rashford. Wrong decision there. The other big decision was who I was going to bench out of the attacking options, and I ended up benching Isak because, yet again, with Haaland, I expected Isak to be more at risk in terms of minutes. Wilson had just scored 2 goals. I felt like Wilson was going to be the starter for Newcastle, but it was Isak who got the start instead, and Isak scored, so he got 5 points, which is really good from him. But I had 3 players with less points in the attacking options, and that is Bruno Fernandes, who easily could have had way more points for Man United. He had a lot of decent through balls to, for example, Rashford, who could have scored. It would have been a huge swing for me. So I think Fernandes was really unlucky not to get more points. McAllister, similarly, could have had 3 penalties against Spurs, and he had an assist chalked off. He had a goal deflected off of him, taken away as well, because it hit his hand on the way to the goal. So I think McAllister was pretty unlucky. But the one always underperforming midfielder is James Maddison, who looked terrible and had a huge hand in Bournemouth winning as well in that game. Leicester at home against Bournemouth, you expected this is the final chance for Maddison. He could actually do something here. I thought back to the game against Nottingham Forest at home earlier in the season when he got 18 points, figured he could do something similar, but Leicester are just in terrible form without a manager. Now they have Dean Smith, so we'll see what happens with that, but Maddison just looked awful, had the back pass that Philip Billing scored the winning goal from, and yeah, he was nowhere really close to getting assists or goals either, so Maddison just been a terrible player for me, and it might be time to go for him. But before we get to the plans, we'll just quickly go through the rest of the team. David Raya conceded 3 times against Newcastle. That's the correct game. And didn't really do much. Can't really expect much more against Newcastle for Raya. It's just it was either him or Everson. Everson played against Bournemouth. I could have played him, but I went against him. He did concede, but he had a lot of saves, so he ended up with 4 points. So that's a 4-point miss as well there. So a couple of 50-50 decisions just not going my way. Ben Chilwell, 0 points. Started on the bench, came on, got a yellow card. He played really well, to be fair. He created a lot of chances for Chelsea, who lost 1-0 against Wolverhampton. So yeah, that's just Chelsea defenders and me. They just keep getting benched. They keep getting injured. They keep getting yellow cards. Yeah, it's just a never-ending story, really. Trippier didn't really do anything against Brentford. Estepinian, again, sort of losing a bit of faith in him, but I still have faith in Brighton as a team, and I really like Estepinian as a player, so he doesn't get clean sheets, and he hasn't gotten any goal returns since I brought him in Gameweek 26 either, but I'm still holding out hope that he will do better eventually. Solly March, however, did get an assist and looked pretty good. Almost had another assist as well. If it wasn't for McAllister, that shot from Welbeck could have easily gone in, and that would have been a March assist and more bonus points as well. So pretty happy with March. Starting him was that was also one of the decisions. I think it was I think Fernandes and Isak was the final choice in the end. Right before the deadline, I was really close to benching Fernandes because I knew he was going to play in a deep playmaker role, but I ended up going against Isak because I wasn't exactly sure that he was going to start, even though he is such an amazing player. So anyways, that's what I ended up doing. Fernandes 3 points, like I said earlier, and then I talked about Maddison and McAllister earlier as well. Haaland with 12 points, talked about him already, and then Harry Kane, as always, scores the winning goal for Spurs and ended up with 9 points. Spurs really lucky in that match, but Kane, as always, really good option. But Kane is actually going to be a major point of discussion in this video as well. I'm going to get to that as well. But first, we're going to take a look at my current plans for Gameweek 31. Pretty simple, really. I recommended Jack Grealish as an option last week, and he returned with 12 points. Should have followed my own advice there, I guess. But still, I only did one transfer last week, and that was Tony to Haaland. I had the exact money to do that, and I felt like Maddison against Bournemouth. I don't really want to do a -4 hit to bring in Grealish against Southampton away, especially with Pep Roulette and all that stuff. But anyways, I might rectify that mistake now and bring in Grealish for this game. it's looking pretty likely now that Rashford is out, confirmed for this game. I don't have that many options to choose from, so I need to sell Maddison for sure. Man City away, he's not going to get any points in that game, so or probably he's going to do now since everyone are selling him. But Grealish just seems like such an obvious option. Leicester at home, it's an amazing fixture. I don't think you could ask for a better fixture at the moment. And the way Grealish is playing, he's just amazing lately and getting a lot of FPL points as well. So I think he's sort of a no-brainer. The only thing that is a bit of a worry is the Pep Roulette, like I mentioned. Grealish played in the Champions League as well against Bayern Munich. They have another big Bayern Munich match coming up, so they might be resting some players against Leicester in a game that they really should win, regardless of who they have. So that's the only thing I'm a bit scared of with Grealish. He might be out. So another option I might do is just to go all in with selling Maddison and Rashford and getting in Salah somehow. Don't know how I'll work that out, but that's also another option. Other than that, I think the team looks really good. Captaincy is a no-brainer for me. Kane does have Bournemouth at home, but I think Bournemouth are actually looking pretty good recently. So I think Haaland at home against Leicester is by far the main choice. Once again, it's the City rotation thing. Julian Alvarez was really good in the Champions League as well for the 30 minutes he played. So I expect Alvarez to play against Leicester, but I think he might play alongside Haaland like he did towards the end of the match when they completely dominated against Bayern Munich, which was really impressive to see. So yeah, that's my team for Game Week 31 most likely. Pretty sure, like 70-75% sure I'm going to do Maddison to Grealish. I might do something else, but that's what I'm leaning towards currently. I do have faith in my Brighton players against Chelsea. Chelsea looked terrible against Wolverhampton, and I think they can all get points there. Fernandes should hopefully be in a much further advanced role now against Nottingham Forest. He needs to step up offensively now that Rashford is gone. So really like my chances. Isak and Wilson will play together probably against Aston Villa. I think that's a decent chance for him as well. So really happy with the team. It's just that Maddison to Grealish transfer that I need to do. But I also need to look further ahead into the next few game weeks. And as you can see, this is my likely Game Week 31 lineup with Grealish in for Maddison. Leaves me with 1.1 million in the bank. But the question going forward is what I'm going to do with Harry Kane and if I'm going to bring in Mohamed Salah, because I really feel like I need to have Salah. There's a huge point of discussion now with Salah versus Kane in terms of who you want to have going forward, because they are really expensive. I mean, you have Fernandes and Haaland as well, really expensive players in my team. Could sell Fernandes for Salah as well, but I think Fernandes will come good eventually now that he's going to play a bit further forward, hopefully. But anyways, this is my Game Week 31 squad. Pretty simple squad to choose from. Kane against Bournemouth at home. I'm not going to sell him this game week for sure. Then Game Week 32, it's a free hit. This is not going to be my free hit team, but I'm going to use my free hit. As you can see, unlimited transfers. And yeah, I'm going to get some nice double game week, or not double game week. I'm going to get some nice single game week players that actually play. Liverpool, West Ham, Arsenal have really good fixtures, and I don't have any of those players, so free hit makes all the sense in the world in 32. Game Week 33, this is where it's kind of interesting. I'm going to just look at every game week now. Before I do any transfers in Game 33 onwards, I'm just going to take a look if I keep Kane in the lineup, if I just keep the same team. How many games would I actually need Kane to play in? So for this game week, if Rashford is fit for Game Week 33, that's a big question mark. He could come on and play for Kane. Man United have been pretty terrible in away matches against Big Six sides anyways, so maybe just keep Rashford on the bench, especially if he's like working himself back into fitness. That might be a good game for him to prove himself before double Game Week 34. So I guess Game Week 33, I'd still keep Kane, even though they play Man United, they play them at home, so Kane could easily score in that game, so I don't mind keeping him here. And I don't really need Salah either. I mean, Salah would be nice. I think they play West Ham in this game week. Just to confirm, I'll do the midfield move here. Yeah, they play West Ham away, so yeah, I think he would be nice to have, but he's nowhere near needed because they play away from home, and West Ham really need the win, and I'm a West Ham fan as well, so yeah, I don't mind having Kane for this game week. But if I don't do any transfers in Game Week 33, I'll have 2 transfers in Game Week 34, and as you can see, Kane on the bench. I'd much rather play Isak at home to Southampton than Kane away against Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool concede a lot of goals, but Isak is such a good player as well, and Southampton are terrible. So I think that is something that makes a lot of sense. So then the question just becomes, do I keep Kane for the long run, or do I downgrade Kane to bring in someone like to bring in Salah for either Rashford if he's out, March if need be, or Grealish potentially if he has lost his place by then, or it's unsure with Foden coming back. So that's just a question. So just to take a look at what I have if I don't get Salah and I don't sell Kane, and looking at the potential options rather than Kane to start. Obviously, Salah would be instead of March here, or instead of Rashford or Grealish, depending on who I sell. But if I don't have Kane in this game week, I'd have to play Isak at home to Arsenal, and I think that's a decent fixture. I could even play Shaw against West Ham away, another decent fixture as well. So don't think Kane is needed in this game week. It is a really nice game week against Crystal Palace, but then again, Crystal Palace are resurgent under Roy Hodgson, so don't know if he is like absolutely nailed in my team. I'm not sure if he's completely needed, but this would be a nice game week to have him in. But from game week 36 onwards, I don't feel like Kane is going to play that much, because in game week 36, we most likely get a double game week for Brighton and Newcastle. It seems like the most likely game week to get the double game week for Brighton and Newcastle players, and that leaves us with so many good players. I might even bench Botman even though he has the double game week, because Man United at home to Wolverhampton is also looking really good. But I could also do I could do Botman in for Shaw as well if I want to, or Botman in for Chilwell as well, depending on how Chelsea look at that time. So, but I have such a good team. I even have Grealish away to Everton on the bench in this match. So Kane not really needed against a really good Aston Villa squad that Spurs lost 2-0 against last time. So yeah, I think Kane is easily benchable in game 36. In game 37 as well, Brentford at home. We have the huge double game week. And even if I even have Isak on the bench, and I'd even play Isak rather than Kane against Leicester at home than Kane against Brentford at home, because Brentford are a much better team than Leicester at the moment. So yeah, I don't think Kane is really needed in game week 37 either, especially with the double game week players. And then, I mean, I guess game week 38, that's so far into the future, don't really have to think about it that much. But Kane against Leeds away, sure, that's a good fixture. But I think between game week 34 and 37, I don't feel like Kane is that essential to have in your starting lineup. And then it just begs the question, should I just have someone like Salah? So yeah, just to make the transfers, just to give you a nicer look of how this would end up being, I just do Greenwood. I don't really need another striker. That's what I feel like as well. I feel like I have 7 great attacking options, and you can only play 7 of them at a time. So this would be either Rashford if he's back, or Shaw if he's back, or Botman against Everton away, which is also a decent fixture. Let's just say the Man United boys are still out, and Botman away, still a pretty good team. Sorry, I'm mistaken. Hang on, this is not the game week I would sell Kane. So I would keep Kane actually in game week 33, like I said earlier, and then I'd have 2 transfers for game week 34, and that's when Kane is on the bench. And that's when I bring in Greenwood to just stay on the bench, really. And probably if Grealish is still nailed in the team and Rashford is back from injury, I keep them. And I'm probably going to sell Solly March. And then I could bring in Salah, because I have so much money in the bank. So I still have 0.7 left in the bank. Game 35, I think this is the week where I'm going to offload Raya. And it looks like Ederson would be the best option here. I'd have the exact money to do that, so maybe that's a bit risky, but I could always bring in someone else as well. I could bring in Alisson. He's about the same price, so. But we'll see. I could even bring in Steele as well if I sold Solly March, but we also have the option of downgrading Grealish, for example, to someone like Mitoma. I really want Mitoma as well. That's the other part about potentially selling March that I quite like, because in game week 36, when Brighton have a double game week, most likely, it would be kind of nice to just get Mitoma, or I could potentially even get. Yeah, I think Mitoma would be the one. I'd probably go Grealish to Mitoma, if you want to pronounce it correctly. So that's another good option here. I could bench Shaw, for example, and I'd still have a pretty good bench. But that's just how it's going to be in game week 36. And then in game week 37, yet again, I'd have Mitoma in this variant of my team. I'd have Salah against Aston Villa at home as well. I could also even play Isak against Leicester rather than Salah against Aston Villa, because Aston Villa have been pretty good this season. But Liverpool did beat Aston Villa 3-1, which was kind of interesting away from home earlier in the season. But But yeah, so many great options still, even without Kane. So I feel like I could live without Kane, and then I could even have 2 transfers here, and I could bring Kane back in for someone if I want to. But yeah, I don't feel like Kane is that essential to have, so I'm sort of leaning towards selling him. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see eventually, but that's far into the future. A lot can happen. Injuries can happen, like we saw with Rashford and Shaw just now. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. But anyways, that's my team selection video for Game Week 31. I hope you all have good game weeks, and I hope you can get a green arrow. I did not. I got a red arrow. So once again, bad game week and a lot of bad 50-50 decisions that went against me. But still just trying to keep fighting in this difficult season and get into the top 500k potentially, hopefully. I don't know. My previous ranks have been much better, so yeah, if you're a first time watcher, I'm not a terrible Premier League FPL manager. So yeah, anyways, rambling again like I usually do towards the end of these videos, but you can like and subscribe to the video. You can comment down below as well if you have any arguments to make for either Salah or Kane going forward. I think it's a really interesting proposition. Even Fernandes you can bring into the discussion as well, because he's also depends to be seen if he's going to play further in attack now than he has done previously, because he's been really good in the deep lying playmaker role. So yeah, a lot of questions and a lot of things you can comment on if you want to. Subscribe, like I said, and yeah, just keep notice of the FPL scope in the future, because we have big plans, and it's going to be huge. It's going to be tremendous. Sorry, I'm not even going to do a Trump impression. Whatever. I'm rambling even more now. So see ya. Bye.